Hey Doug, how you doing? Don't worry, there will be proper emotes soon. Sorry. I'm working on it. Hey Bexy, how you doing? Playing a story game today that was recommended by Maz, so great result I guess if it's bad, but I'm looking at this family tree and it's actually kind of sad. There's like seems like only one person in every generation actually lives to like an age. Like Calvin at 11, Barbara at 60, Molly at 10. Like, this is just a bit sad. 13. Gregory lived to 1 year old. Hey Cam, how you doing? But let's play. I'm on a ferry. I'm not too sure what I'm doing. Got a book. Rip Greg. Indeed. Where was Greg on here? 1 year old. Do I have a book? Open book. How do I open book? Um Okay, I opened the book.
Going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning.
Hold on. The audio's a bit quiet.
With the house.
Minus 27 degrees. Cam, just go home.
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it. My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
Date of birth, 19th of May, 1992. JJ, this is What Remains of Edith Finch. My friend recommended it. He said it was a very good game. And I think it's only meant to be a couple hours
I
long,
lived
so
there
I'll
until I was
probably...
11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
I'll end the stream when it's done, I think. I'm good, John. How you doing? A very pretty mailbox.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Why are you sad, John?
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Oh. Thank you, JJ. I hope it's good. People don't like me on Electra's chat? What gives you that idea,
My mother
John?
left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
Oh.
Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Okay, wait. Chat. Hold on, let me snooze the ad. My god, I need to lower the ads. Oh, who are you should never stop, John. Chat, do we go up or do we go down? What are we thinking? Where would we like to go first? We're gonna go down. Yeah, scare away viewers. Bestie. No. Doesn't seem like there's actually anything. I don't think who are you is enough to scare a person at all.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent.
Up was my answer?
As if they're about to say something, but never
Oh.
do.
I'm sorry, bestie. It's too far gone. Is this a scary game? No, no. You owe me money to get me to play a scary game, Ethan. Wait, let's just... It looks like Duck both ways would have just led, like, same thing. Just alternate routes. Wow, that is
The house
a...
was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
That is a Hello Neighbor looking house. I didn't ignore your choice on purpose. You didn't type it in the chat.
I
What in
asked
the
Edie
world?
once about the dragon in the pond. She said it had killed her husband.
Oh.
I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me, even then.
I'm not sure it was a joke. Okay. Duck, I'll give you the choice again. Do I go up the main or do I go towards the garage? What up, slut? Oh, hi, on. You know. While you're deciding, Duck, I'm gonna go and see if I can see what this little animal is. Oh, and I'm just waiting for a decision to be made. Garage, double garage, yo, triple garage. Oh
As
my
a
god.
child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
I mean, yeah, I'd be a bit. I mean, look at it. Like, what the hell? Bro, I went in through the cat flap.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Oh.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
It's a very nice looking game.
For the first time in years,
All the different names of the... What the hell?
I felt like I was home.
My god, how many plates does one person
But instead
need?
of a family, there were just memories of one.
Oh. A loving memory of Lewis Finch, beloved brother to Edith, son of Dawn, great-grandson to Edie. Finch Family Cemetery. Northwest Chef, a Viking's Belly, Witch's Kitchen. Damn, someone really enjoyed cooking in this house. Oh my god. What is that? Is that like a pressure washer or something? What is that?
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Oh, I'm sure she was loving it.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Edie was in like a special chair.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Oh.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
A smile with too many teeth. That's crazy. Can you guys hear like the background noise and everything? I want to make sure you're getting like a full picture.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Original hat. Oh, that was cool. That was cool. Hello. Yeah, it's a fireplace. Got some bird collectors.
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
The rest of the house. What a thing to build for a person.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
What happened on that last night? Wait. Okay, guys. Do we want to go through here? Oh wait, no. Yeah, we need a
Mom
key for
always
this
told me
actually.
to stay out of the
That's what
basement,
the key.
so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Okay, not what the key. I was gonna tell you which one to go, but then didn't work.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Oh.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Wait, wasn't there people downstairs? I think I missed that one.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Oh.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Oh. What? Okay, wait. I want to leave that there. I want to leave that there. I want to go look around. Can I peep through the other ones? Yeah.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
That is a funky looking doll. Or whatever that is in the corner.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara. Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Yo, there's a penguin. Hello. Ben and Edie.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Ah, so she's the artiste. Okay, okay. 1915 to 1964. 2010. 46 years without your other half, man. That's not something I'd like to imagine. That sounds sad. Poor Edie.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing
Oh,
a room
that's
with
cool.
his dead brother, Calvin.
Oh, that's less cool. Gregory, 1 year old.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes.
The
Sealed rooms you
bathroom.
weren't allowed inside of.
Why is Gregory marked in the bathroom? What's that? Okay, I think there was a peephole downstairs, and then we can go and explore. Yeah, this one here. One with all the books.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Oh. Makes sense, there's books everywhere. Okay, let's go, guys. Let's go. How are you guys feeling about this game so far? Been a funky start.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
This was one of the locked off rooms, right? Yeah.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Oh, that's cool.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
All the different people have such like big personalities from each other, just from like their rooms. Crazy. Molly was the animal expert.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Well, that's not concerning at all.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
What?
I ate a lot of things that night. I kept eating and eating.
Bro, I don't want to watch this. What?
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
What?
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared. Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits.
There's rabbits? Am I blind?
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
What? Wait, am I controlling this? What? Okay.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Oh.
I grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
I'm an octopus now?
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Oh my god.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't. After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Casually eating everyone. I'm just very, like, something is wrong with this girl, bro. I feel like she's just hallucinating after eating all the toothpaste and the berries and everything.
I got closer and closer.
Or am I just still on the windowsill?
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
What in the world?
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Oh.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Lurpy. 11 years old. Pretty good for a bird, no?
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
The parrot? Yeah, it does look like a parrot. Is that not good for a parrot?
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Probably because it killed that other woman's husband.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Live up to
Her room was like
50,
a
holy shit.
museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
How do I get out of this? Oh, wait. How do I get out of this? Wait. I'm confused. Oh, I can't get out of this. There we go. My god, that took me a second.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Odin is now in the books. Ben and Edie. Look at all these books. Norwegian folk tales. Tales from Beyond. Beast of Nature. They're obsessed with a very specific type of book.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
This is so pink. Holy. Coral
There's
reef
a
looking.
secret in this bathroom.
Oh.
It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard.
This is a cool book. Like a flip thing.
It's hidden in this book.
Huh.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
It's like a little mini red room. 1950 to September 19. Alvin. Milton.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin.
United States Marine Corps.
And that he never talked about him.
Oh, that's cool. Oh. This. Oh. What doors? My god, this place is full of surprises. Oh, I don't want to go through yet. I don't want to go through yet. I want to go up here first.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
or maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing. After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Doc, have you played this before?
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Sorry, I'm being very quiet. I'm just kind of like
The
enjoying the
passages were
game.
a
I
pretty
guess.
tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Okay. Open that up.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Swan Lake. I think she was just a star. Look at her. Look at all these awards.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
So weird, but alright.
As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
Why is it not? There we go.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Hello? Oh, hi. Bonk.
Oh!
Rick?
Uh,
Barb, relax. was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Alright, well, up we go, holding this dude's crutch again. Does this scene get you anxious too?
Walter, are you there?
I'm ready to bonk a bitch.
Vanished,
Oh.
but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Oh no, he behind me.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And whoever he was, he couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's...
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Yeah, get fucked up.
But she sensed the story might not be over yet.
He's gone.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Oh shit. The door's gone.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh, dear.
Rose said, oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true.
Aww.
Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Wasn't a fan of that. That was a lot. My God.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
I feel like I missed something in the last room with like Sam and Calvin.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
I guess Is there anything on this side that I missed? No, I don't need to go that far back.
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Okay.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Based, Mom. Based, Mom. Here's for your safety, you know.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that. I remember
We
asking
love
Mom
dark,
once
spooky
about where Walter
caves.
had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
The worst that can happen? True.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today.
Or even the detective, I wish.
I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even
I'm
a
doing
monster
good, Knight. How
on
are
the
you?
other side of the door starts to feel normal.
My
almost
day,
friendly.
I spent most of it sleeping, I'll be completely honest. Yes, very big story game, very big story. She's going
And then
through
one day, everything just
hearing about her family.
stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Going through the deaths of their family. He's been eating it for 30 years, I guess.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
Come on, guys, let's leave.
I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara. And Molly. And Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Huh.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Come on, up we go. Up we go.
Maybe she was afraid
Oh.
I'd end up like Walter.
I went the wrong way. Oh no, now I gotta do the whole animation again. Come on. Okay, am I like pressing the wrong button here or something? I don't get it. Okay, I have to press forward to go down, apparently.
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real. I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
You guys can like.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Oh. Jesus. Don't ask me that question.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
My
3 of the gerbils were
God.
mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Lucy, Daisy, Derpy, Derpy Jr., Burpy, Chirpy, Furpy, Lurpy. My God. Gutsy got a good 14 years, 7 years, 10 years, 5 years.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery. I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Oh my god. Brother's pregnant. 5 months pregnant. God.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
Why are we hanging milk?
They were both pretty intense.
God, the music got funky in
Instead
here.
of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Hey, Finch. Bro loved his camera. Oh.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged. Not quite.
Shouldn't we be leaving?
Just want to get a shot of you, Dawn, then we can take off.
I like focus or anything? Aw.
I'm over here, Dad.
Oh, you're right. You're right there.
Just need to get a shot of you, Dawn, then we can hit the road.
Ah, there we go. For some reason it wasn't doing it before.
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
There you are.
Aw.
At this point, I'm just snapping stuff for my own amusement.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hey!
That's a keeper. Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff. if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was going to be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
Lots of things.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn.
Lots of things to
Before
photograph.
you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want... Great shot, Dawn!
Oh. Well, this is, Huh.
I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay? Sorry, Dawn. Just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Oh. Well then. Huh.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
That's a way to go. Oh, wait. Oh, God. I keep doing that.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Normal to have fears.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Oh, not Gregory. Oh, boy.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
It's time to...
Oh,
Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
Bubba.
He saw what his world was like. wish she could have told us. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
And I knew that was going to be a tough one.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Poem for Gus.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I remember.
Always the way.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Starting to think I did not go inside said tent.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power, but all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Oh, I think I missed a sentence there.
I wish that I could truly say
Oh, no,
I
I
thought
didn't.
about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
My God. Everyone's getting caught up in so much
She never
bullshit.
talked about him, but
Jesus.
Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Greg, be a baby.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get. Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
That was the we saw outside the grave. That game's making me
My
sick.
mom moved
What
to
the
India
hell?
a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
I personally am not very good at most story games. I get lost at some point, so I'm glad that this is way more focused on the story than making the game somewhat confusing.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Analyze objectively, never stop learning, assume nothing, respect criticism, ask tough questions.
But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
I want to try the beat bowl first.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings. I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
He was good too.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
There you go, I was trying to read it a little slower. Hi Mari, how are ya? How you doing? Yeah, that was really cool. The double flip book. And then it just disappears. Hi, Ghostling. Sorry, I just replied to your message and then didn't, like, reply to you. Sorry. I'm doing good, Mari. This game is actually really, like, beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's, like, really sad, but it's beautiful. He made a flipbook animation about a magic door, and now I'm thinking that's why he may have painted a door for himself.
Mom spent months searching for my brother.
The lower room.
Then she sealed the doors.
Thank you, John. Love you, long. Like, he made a flipbook animation about a door taking him to another place, and then he's built this as like a life-size version for himself. And I don't know if that's like a message for anything, but it feels that way.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
I go around this way now. How you all doing? Ghost calling me a shit streamer, but that's okay. That's okay. Mari, I think you'd really like this game. It's like £4.50 on Epic Games at the moment. It's very pretty. Where's Mozzarella? Not sure, to be honest.
Mom
I'm not
definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time
On Steam,
in his
it's
room
like £15, but
until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
I like you, John, and I'm in Electra's chat. What's going on, Cav? I'm playing a very sad game. She's going through the history of her family, and a lot of them seem cursed to die young, and just finding out all their stories and going through the house. Very well made. It's very well made. You stink? Oh.
Lewis's room
Whoa.
smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
A bit of a smoker here. I gotta let you too.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to...
Into what?
wander.
Oh.
I
Oh, I'm
asked him
doing
to
two
describe
things.
it.
Okay.
He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth.
This is very hard to control
feel
two
his
things
way
at
out.
once.
Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
If I'm not
And
reading
things
chat,
that
it's
have
because
no
I'm
names.
struggling a little bit
He
here.
knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Hello.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
This is a really interesting way to look at, like, mental health.
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
It's slowly just taking over my screen. I'm losing reality.
St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a beautiful prince.
If anyone ever starts feeling like this, please talk to someone. You know, there's people.
The prince
who'll be
was
there
on
for
his
you.
own quest for
Be people who can
sinister
talk.
serpents.
We all reach it. That doesn't mean you have to stay there if you do, you know. People are there for you.
He followed the sound of his silver harp.
I'm missing all the notes.
His chase led him to a golden palace.
Why is he
east of
playing
the
with a
sun and
fish?
west of the
He
moon.
works at a cannery, Ghostling. He's losing sight of reality
then,
and
his
just
logic
mindlessly
remained
chopping
sound.
fish.
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
And Kukao.
But he was so proud of having created it.
There are always people who'll be there for you if
In
you're
his own eyes, he'd
getting
become
to this
something
point
greater
where
than a king.
life isn't really feeling real anymore, you know. You know, gotta keep doing it.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
I was going through it.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
My wisdom again. This whole part of the game is just about
waiting,
someone who's
holding his crown.
I'll say it after. Don't worry. I'll say it after.
There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Yeah. If you ever get to that point where you're like losing sense of reality,
My brother was really cool.
like,
I wish you could have met him.
you know, you're not feeling like yourself anymore, you should talk to someone. There will always be people around that will listen to you and find something to get you through all of that. You shouldn't have to just keep doing you, you know? It fucks you up. There's people. There's lots of people. People are scared to do that. That's a joke. Time for a haircut and more whack. No, no, no. No, no, no. Just never be scared to reach out for someone, man. Someone will be there. As much as you feel like they might not be.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
Oh, God. It's the eternal sunshine line all over again.
But I understand why we left.
I wish I'd stayed. I wish I'd done a lot of things.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
What happened?
But it had to end one way or another.
All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Hold on, John, let me snooze that ad break so you guys can keep talking.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
You have ad block. Yeah, I met her on another person's stream. And, didn't actually talk to her for like a couple months after that. Or, I don't know how long it was a while.
Afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house.
I'm not a hater.
Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because
A
of your
love story.
stories.
You know what?
I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home
What
send
are
a
you
van
talking
for you
about,
in the
John?
morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is
There's two
about
besties
what
gone.
happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car, and I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it.
Oh wait, can I move my hand? I love this. Yeah, I love doing this.
A few years went by.
Gonna be an ad soon.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
Rivals reveals, no sir.
And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself.
Yeah, you can DM ad if you.
But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Oh. Thank you for popping in, Cav. Good luck with your games. Yeah, this game hit hard, man. Ugh. God. I was not prepared for that. He's got a shotgun. Jack Maz was right. His friend said that this was a good game. He thought I'd like it. And oh my god. Whew. That was a roller coaster. I feel like it's made me sick because I'm like sad now. Hoping you guys enjoyed watching me play through this. I don't know. I'm hoping to get some more interesting games in there through the weeks. The Edith Finch team, 2012 to 27. Well. No, no. This is where the stream ends. It feels like a disservice to this game to play something after it. And I'm probably gonna put the VOD of this on my main channel. Because this is a really fucking beautiful game. Oh. Just... Go out and do stuff with your life while you have it, man. Love your family too, you know? Even if they are a little funky, they're still your family. Everyone has their own things they like and don't like, but you're always there for each other, eventually, when you're needed, you know? God, about 80% of this family didn't live past 18, past 16. There's stories everywhere. Everyone's very unique, different. Oh no, I think everyone will find a way to take something different from this game, depending on how you've experienced life, I guess, and how you've gone through things with your family, like that. I guess that's kind of the beauty of it. Yeah. There's no raid on the end of this stream. That is just, it's just gonna end. You're free to go to the wind. Yeah. I'll see you guys again tomorrow, I guess. What Remains of Edith Finch? That is the name of the game, if anyone wants. Goodbye, people. A beautiful game. I would stop talking now, because I'll never stop talking if I don't. There's so much to say about this game. Yeah. Have a good night for now.